So, Albert, can you believe that we're already in December? It literally means it's been almost 2 months since Jamboree first launched, and also means we're getting closer to the holidays as well, and it means I'm getting older too.
Yeah, it's still hard to believe that this whole year is already passed. I mean, I still remember when Super Mario Bros. Wonder released, and that felt really recent.
Yeah, that's over a year ago now, and it's already been half a year since we first got a look at Jamboree 2, and now that I've had a lot more time playing the game, I absolutely love Jamboree, and specifically, I really love the mini games as well, which is why I've got you on here today, because I feel as if with the mini games, you need to have a little bit more time to actually play them in different scenarios and just experience them as just differently in all these different types of ways. And I feel as if now is kind of the right time to sort of actually rank these together. And by that, I mean, I rank them on my own and you rank them on your own, but we can actually see what we're actually ranking them as and have a little bit of discussion if they do differ too much, and maybe see if our opinions change at all. So do you reckon our opinions will differ too much?
Yeah, I think they might be kind of different, mostly because I'm known for my pretty unpopular opinions at times.
Which is exactly why I wanted to have you on here, to see if you could sway me a little bit, because there is 112 of these bad boys, and let's be honest, I don't think if we would put any money on it, we're not getting them in the same order at all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this holiday special. Let's go. Alright, starting with a free-for-all, we're going to be beginning with Big Top Quiz. I'm going to go ahead and pop this one into the B tier.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna put it in the B tier, because out of all the quiz-related games, this one is the right length, it's just 3 rounds, and it does actually get kind of challenging when you have to pay attention to what the images are.
Yeah, you literally took the words completely out of my mouth. Every single round I play on this, you're still scratching your head in the final round, even the second round. You never know what's going to be asked, so I think BT is good for that one.
Yeah.
Next on, we've got Light Wave Battle, and I really like this one.
Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna put this one in the S tier.
Okay.
Because I really like the whole mind game aspect of it. You really have to time your jumps, and I really like the music. It sounds like it's straight out of early 2010s Newgrounds.
Yeah, I think you might have convinced me to put this up to the A tier. I think I've had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it, just for losing a little bit too much, but this one in particular is very, very good. It's a classic Mario Party game. You ground pound, try to avoid things coming in, and it's really, really good. So
yeah.
Next up, we've got Camera Ready. This might come as a shock. I'm putting this in the S tier. I freaking love this minigame, and I'm not even that good at it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this one maybe in the high B tier, because I definitely like the concept of it, trying to look for where to take a picture, but the scoring system is a little inconsistent at times.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can't argue with that. Next one we have is Cold Front. This one I feel like is a fan favorite. I'm gonna pop it into the A tier above Light Wave Battle. I really like this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one probably in the lower S tier, because platforming minigames are some of my favorites overall, and I really like how you have to pay attention to which flurries are about to, blow their wind.
Yeah, it's a nice mix between difficult, but also still okay to, like, it's kind of accessible for anyone. You can get pretty lucky and sort of not die if you are a bit of a younger person, so I think it's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
This one is also a love-hate relationship, depending on who you ask. I think it's a classic. It's probably the best button masher of all time, arguably, and I'm going to put it at the very top of the S tier, of course, being Domination.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put this one, I'm probably going to put this, high B tier, because while I personally hate button mashers, I think Domination is definitely one of the better ones, just because it's so satisfying to see the wumps falling on top of each other.
Yeah, and this is one that I really, really emphasize. This is a love-hate relationship. I played in a particular game, and the person I was playing against, it was in Pro Rules, and they chose Domination twice, and they were very, very good at button mashing, and I lost all my coins. So it's love-hate, but better times could have been had. Next up is probably not as much of a fan favorite, being Gatekeepers. I'll put it in F tier. I want to see where you put it.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting it in F tier as well, because Well, unlike other luck minigames, there's no tension. As soon as the first player gets the key, you're just fighting for like 3 or 2 coins.
Yeah, and if you get lucky for the very first one, the game's pretty much over, and yeah, it's not that fun. Another returning minigame which is fun is Granite Getaway. This one I have heard is a fan favorite. I like it, but I don't like it as much as other people.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. It's definitely good and iconic, but it's just a bit too easy, so I'm putting it in the lower end of B.
I think it could be more difficult. So I think B tier is good. It's still a good minigame. The next one is actually a motion control minigame, and believe it or not, I like my motion control ones, but this one just doesn't quite hammer it home for me. No pun intended. It's good fun. It's just trying to hit nails in at the right rhythm, essentially, or strength.
Yeah, so I hate most of the motion control minigames, but this is one of the slightly more bearable ones for me. But yeah, I'm still gonna put it in the D tier because it's just kind of boring and formulaic. It feels more like a rhythm minigame.
Respect. Speaking of respect, Hot Cross Blocks. This one is a freaking long minigame, but it's a good minigame. And I'm torn between putting it in the B or A tier, so I'd like to see where you're going to put this one.
Yeah, so the first time I played this minigame, I got pretty lucky, but the more I play it, I realize it's probably one of my least favorite games in the whole game, so probably F tier. It just takes way too long. It's like that King Babam fight from Mario Party 9, but without the tension of being a boss fight.
Yeah, I do agree. I think you might have talked me down here a bit, only because I was thinking, as I said, A or B specifically, was the fact of how long it can get, and like you can get ganged up on. So I think C tier for me.
Yeah.
Another hot minigame, or very lava themed, is Hot Hot Hop. And this, I think, will be a lot of people's top minigames. I actually think this is an S tier minigame, and that's not me being controversial. I think it's really good. I like the ones where you got to jump over fire, and this has a little bit more added tension with the blargs coming through. So that's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely like it for being a platform minigame, but it's also just one of those games that's, again, too easy. Like, I tried to go for the world record in survival, and I got up to 6 minutes without any challenge, so I think I'm putting it probably in the middle of the B tier.
Nice. I think we're seeing a little bit of a trend here. I think you're better at video games than I am, so I think the ones that you find easy are still going to rank a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. Speaking of easy though, Lumber Tumber. I love the design of this. I think the execution is too easy, so I'm going to put this one in the D tier, above Hammer at Home.
Yeah, this one is definitely just too easy, but again, I still think the concept is okay, so I'll put it in the B tier again.
Nice. Night Lights is another one that looks absolutely gorgeous, and I love the minigame from Mario Party 8. What was it called again?
Rank to rank.
That's the one, and I really like that minigame at 8. I think I like it more than the D tier ones. I'm probably going to put this in the C tier because aesthetically it looks beautiful. It's pretty simple, but I like it.
Yeah, I think Night Lights is definitely one of the slightly more frustrating motion minigames just because the computer players do it so much faster, but it is pretty beautiful, so maybe like low D tier again.
Speaking of another motion minigame, we have Pickaxe Dash. This one I think is too easy. It's again beautiful. I love the concept. I think it's just too easy, so I'm going to put that one in the F tier.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just too simple, and at the same time, my Joy-Cons typically don't respond to my inputs very well. But at least the fact that it is simple means that there's also less that can go wrong, so maybe like, yeah, low D tier.
Very nice. Speaking of things that I wasn't that happy about, we have Platform Peril. So, bit of a history lesson. This was one of my favorite minigames for Mario Party 1. If it was Mario Party 1, it'd probably be like the A tier or the S tier. For this one, I'm putting this in the F tier, even behind Pickaxe Dash. I hate that it's a coin minigame, and it's way too easy now. Like, there is no punishment at all for like losing.
Yeah, Platform Peril is just kinda boring now. I don't quite hate it, but yeah, it's pretty boring, so I'd put it in the lower end of the D tier.
Fair enough. It broke my heart. Next up, we have Rinks to Riches. You might see a bit of a trend here. I don't tend to like the coin minigames too much. It's probably because of a lot of coins in this game. Not as bad as the other Mario Parties on the Switch, but I'm not that big of a fan of it. So I'm going to put this one in the F tier. It's not much to it. It's basically collect coins in Ice Rink and try to break the one in the middle for free. So
I don't really like coin minigames per se, since there's not really a lot of stakes, but I did think that this one was pretty cool in its concept, because I like the whole ice skate item from Super Mario 3D World. That was a nice callback, and I'd put it in, actually, in the B tier.
I reckon that's a hot take, and I'm here for it. So you haven't convinced
Yeah.
me, but I do like how it does call back to the new Super Mario Bros. Not you know what I mean, the 3D World land ones.
Yeah.
Sandwiched. This is no doubt going straight to the very top of the S tier for me. I love Book Squirm and those kind of mini games that have endless modes, and this is one that's really, really fun and has a bit of difficulty as well.
Yeah, Sandwich is easy S tier, definitely. Probably one of my favorite minigames of all time. Personally, also because it reminds me a lot of a Flash game I used to play when I was younger.
Nice. What Flash game was it?
I think it was called Jump for Love.
Very cool. Scarousel. This is another one that I really, really, really like. I'm probably being a bit lenient with the S tiers, but these mini games, when I think of Jamboree, are the ones that stand out to me, like front of like these 5 ones I've got in the S tier, and I think I like it second best right there. So Scarousel ahead of Domination. Really, really good mini.
Yeah, Scarousel is definitely a classic, although I think I'd put it in the A tier because at the same time, it does feel a bit monotonous for the first minute or so.
Yeah, good point. Next up, we have another motion mini game being Shuttle Scuttle. This is one that I never expected to be a motion mini game going into it, but I quite like this, and the difficulty is not too bad. I think I would put this at the very top of the B tier for me.
Yeah, I really love Shuttle Scuttle as well, because it's one of the few motion control minigames here that doesn't really feel that frustrating. It's responsive, and I like the concept a lot, so I'm actually tempted to put it at the bottom of S tier.
Very nice. Sled to the Edge. What do you think of this?
Yeah, Sled to the Edge is easily one of the most classic minigames in the whole selection. Like, you really do need to pay a lot of attention to not go too far. So I'm definitely putting it as one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, second place for now.
Very nice. I think I would put this in the S tier as well. Probably third. I think I like this. Actually, no, I'm going to put it second. I think it's really, really good. It's a classic. You can play it a lot, and it's always fun every time. It's always different.
Yeah.
Next is Snag the Flags. This one, I don't really enjoy that much. I think I'm going to put it in the C tier above Hot Cross Blocks. It's cool. I like how the flags also remind me of the Mario Kart Tour emblems, but it just doesn't hit it that hard for me.
Yeah, so this is actually another one of my favorite minigames from this selection. Like, it reminds me a lot of that Globe Gunner minigame from Mario Party DS.
Yeah.
And I also just think it's kind of epic, like you're taking over the world.
So
I'm putting it probably either second or third place for now. Actually, let's put it fourth place.
Very nice. I love Mario Party 4, as you know, which we know you don't really like as much, but the mini games and Stamp Out, it was always one that stood out to me. I don't know if it's my favorite mini game for Mario Party 4, but for me it's still B tier. I'd probably put it just below Granite Getaway, above Big Top Quiz.
Yeah, Mario Party 4 isn't really my jam, but the minigames are definitely one of the better aspects. However, Stamp Out feels a bit too slow-paced, even if I like the concept, so I think it's just average.
Tiny Triathlon, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, this one is just, it's a cool concept, like doing 3 things for one minigame, but the fact that it's motion controls really kinda ruins it, so I'm putting it probably in the middle of D tier. It's only the concept that barely saves it.
Yeah, I also agree. I really like Mario Medley for Mario Party 4, and I was excited to play this one, but the motion controls kind of hurt it for me, so I'm probably going to put it at the bottom of the D tier.
Yeah.
Again, back to Mario Party 4, where you've got 3 throw, and I really do love free throw, but it is very much based on where you are positioned realistically if you're good at the minigame. So I think I'm just going to put it for me at the very top of the C tier, even though I do like it.
Yeah, originally I didn't really like it at all, but playing it a lot in Jamboree now, I think it's pretty fun trying to time your jumps and throws, so maybe B tier, top of B tier.
You've convinced me, mate. I thought I was being too harsh, and my Mario Party 4 love is going above Stamp Out for me. I like it more than that. Yep, I'm just solid out. I was a bit hesitant to do that, but you've given me the confidence.
Yeah.
Swamp the Difference, how do you like that?
Yeah, so this is kind of the antithesis to Big Top Quiz. It goes on for way too long with too many rounds, and it's just slow-paced in general, trying to find which is the odd one out, so I think I'm putting it probably in the low D tier.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. I can't disagree with that too much at all. I do like the kind of guessing mini games and also what's going to happen. And this one though feels like it misses the mark slightly. I think it's better than Tiny Triathlon though, but yeah, you can always guess it as well and get pretty lucky too. So it can become a bit of anyone's game at times.
Yeah.
What do you think of Tilt-A-Golf?
Yeah, so this is another one of the better motion control minigames in this selection, since not only do I think golf is pretty cool, but yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it feels satisfying to play in a way. So I think I'd put it in the lower end of the D tier. I like how you have to adjust the platform and all.
Very nice, very nice. I think for me, I think it's probably a C tier minigame, just because it's pretty quick. It's a good minigame, but I can't put it above any of these ones in the B tier, so I'm going to put it there. Speaking of minigames I do love, Trampled Line. This one is really, really good. I think I'm going to put this above Domination as well. This is a really good minigame, and again, a massive throwback to the 3D World and 3D Land stuff too.
Yeah, again, I like the 3D World reference, and it is a cool concept, and it was close to being S tier. It's just that a lot of things are kind of out of your control, like there's so many ways to get screwed up if someone accidentally bounces on you, so I'm just putting it at the top of A tier.
Cool. I know I said I don't really like koi minigames all that much before, but Treasure Divers is one that I do enjoy. I do think it's still a C tier one for me because it's pretty quick and you're just getting coins essentially, but it is quite competitive, so I think I'd put it above Night Lights. Actually, no, behind Night Lights. That's what.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty average minigame as well. Maybe top of C tier. Like, it's definitely a bit more challenging than the other coin minigames, but there's also just a bit too many things that can screw you up.
Fair. Treetop Treasure, what do you think of that?
That's another pretty average coin minigame. Like, it's not challenging, a bit easy, but I mean, it's kind of fine in concept, trying to adjust the platform so you can reach the higher coins. I'd put it in C tier.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I think it's not as fun as Platform Peril, so I'll put it in F tier. And the last minigame for the free-for-all is Twist and Sort. This one, I thought I was going to dislike a lot going into it, but I actually really enjoyed it. So I'm putting it in the B tier. I think it's really fun and it gets quite challenging.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's definitely simple, but incredibly addictive and trying to get as many right ones as possible. So I'd put it actually in A tier.
Very nice, very nice. And that's all the free-for-all ones now.
Yeah.
So moving into the 1v3 minigames.
Yeah, next up we have Arch Rivals, and this is probably another one of my least favorite games in this selection, because it's like that Mario Party 2 1v3 game, except depth perception is way off. Like, if you're the one player, it's basically impossible to know where to aim to hit the targets on the far edges. So, but it is also one of those games that's kind of so bad that it's funny, so maybe I'll put it in the middle of D tier.
Yeah, completely agree with all your points there. I think I prefer Tiny Triathlon and Swamp the Difference more to Arch Rivals, but like you said, I think this is nowhere near as good as a comparison versus the Mario Party 2 version of it. And again, I know they're different minigames, but I just like the Mario Party 2 one better. And speaking of older Mario Parties, Blame It on the Crane is another one of my Mario Party 4 beloved ones, and I really, really like this one. So I'm going to put this in the B tier. I think it is a little bit difficult if you got some really good players against you as the 3. But what do you think of it?
Yeah, so this is easy F tier for me. It's just slow paced and it's usually way too skewed towards the team. Like, yeah, I hate it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Unfortunately, that's not going to change my opinion this time because I love my Mario Party 4. So, yeah. Speaking of love, another one that I really do kind of love is Bruiser Bash. This one can be fun, but I think it's probably C tier for me because I have a love-hate relationship with it. So, I'm going to put this above Snag the Flags.
Yeah, I think it's also probably C tier because while it is pretty balanced, it does feel a bit overwhelming if you're the team, just because of how far the Bruiser's reach is.
Fair enough, fair enough. I respect that opinion. Speaking of respectable minigames, this is one that I never thought I was going to actually like going into the game, but Cage Catch is actually quite a lot of fun. I've had some good moments on this game. I think this kind of goes next to the Twist and Sort minigame for me. I think I prefer Twist and Sort slightly more, so I'll put it in the B tier.
Yeah, I think this one is unfortunately not that great. I'd put it in the lower end of C tier because the solo player can just mash A to swim faster, and at that point, it becomes almost kind of impossible for the team to win from my experience.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't argue too much with it, so I'm happy to leave that one there. Next up, we have Cookie Cutter. What do you think of this one?
Oh yeah, so Cookie Cutter is definitely my favorite 1v3 game from this selection. I'd actually put it right in the S tier as my third favorite. Like, it's so fast-paced, I love it being quick and trying to get as many as possible, both as a team and as a solo player.
Yeah.
So yeah, S tier.
Yeah, no, it's a very good minigame. I think I like it. I think it's going to go in the A tier for me. Only because I feel like the one player always beats us in the 3, but I think that might be a skill issue, but the minigame is really good. So I'll put it in the A tier. Another coin minigame is Income Stream, and unfortunately, this one doesn't again hit the mark for me. I am going to be putting it in the F tier and just above Platform Peril because I like it slightly more.
Oh, that's harsh. Yeah, so like the ice skating one, this one is also based on 3D World, which automatically makes me kind of like it, but at the same time, it feels like River Raiders from Mario Party 3 done right, as it's a bit more balanced. So I'd put it actually in the, okay, maybe not A tier, but top of B tier.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know, it just didn't really ever hit that hard on me, so yeah. Next is Lost and Pound. I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, so Lost and Pound is basically one of those typical mind games where you have to guess where the solo player is hiding. And yeah, so I don't really like this one. It's just, it either becomes too easy or too hard for the team players. You can either get all hit points in one go or you don't get any at all. So, and it's just kind of boring. So I'm putting it in top of D tier.
I actually really like this, and I've always liked these type of minigames. You explained it perfectly, so I won't elaborate on it too much. I'm going to put this one in the C tier, just above Hot Cross Blocks, only because it can be quite funny.
Yeah.
Next, we have On Again, Off Again, and this reminds me a lot of Hot Drop and Roll from, I think, Mario Party 8. This is a really good minigame. I don't have too much to say about it. I think it's just an A tier minigame for me. It's difficult for both ones. You always get different results, and I think it's good.
Yeah, this is definitely another one of the best 1v3 minigames. I'd put it in, yeah, probably middle of the A tier. I really like how you can trick your opponents.
And next, we've got Snowbrawl, and I know you've got some feelings towards this, so take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so Snowbrawl is definitely one of the most hilarious 1v3 minigames of all time. Like, snowball fights are obviously fun in real life, and I really love how you can just end the minigame in 1 second. I've had so many fun experiences with that, so this is probably another S tier for me.
That is a very controversial opinion, and I'm here for it. I thought I was in the camp that no one really likes this one because it can be really quick, but I've had some really fun experience on this where the 1 has beaten the 3 pretty good in a pretty intense match, and again, losing in a second's hilarious too. I think this one for me is also an S tier, and I actually like it more than Hot. So I'm going to put it in the S tier. It's always been good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Squeaky Shakedown is another one that is a coin minigame. Reminds me a lot of Bash and Cash. Again, I've said this so far. I'm not that big of a fan of coin ones. Probably like it more than Platform Peril, but not enough as income stream.
Yeah, I think this one is, it's a cool reference, but it's kinda one-sided. It's way easier for the solo player, and everyone just kinda ends up with equal amounts of coins at the end, so maybe, low C tier.
Very fair. Speaking of good minigames though, Sunset Standoff. I freaking love this one. I think it can be hilarious, it's great, it's just an A tier minigame for me personally, so I'll be putting it there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, but it does go on for a little too many rounds, so it becomes a bit too easy for the team. But overall, it's definitely. Oh wait, sorry for the solo player, but yeah, maybe top of the B tier. I do love the whole atmosphere and presentation of it.
And there's one left here, so I'll let you take it away. UFO.
Yeah, UFO is also a surprisingly fun 1v3 minigame to me, since at first it does look to be skewed for the team, but actually there's quite a lot of ways the solo player can build traps, easily win the game, so I think I'll put it, actually I might put this one in the A tier, in the S tier as well. Yeah, I think actually let's put it at the top of A tier.
You've read my mind perfectly. It's going at the very top of the A tier. It's just a balanced 1v3, so you can't really go wrong with it. But that rounds off all the 1v3. So next up, we have the 2v2 minigames. And overall, I really like the 2v2 minigames. And the first one, unfortunately, is Coin Coral, which actually is not too bad personally, but even though I'm still going to be putting it the F tier, just below Pickaxe Dash as well. So even though I do like it, it's still there.
Yeah, so Coin Coral is probably my least favorite minigame so far in the ranking. Like, the motion controls just do not respond to my inputs at all. And the fact that it's also 2v2 means you have to rely on the other players' Joy-Cons also working. So yeah, it's just a lose-lose situation. And there's no stakes because it's a coin minigame, so yeah.
Very, very true. I think I like it more for the atmosphere, but that's just me. Next, we have Defuse or Lose. Are you a fan of this one?
Yeah, so Defuse or Lose, I have a bit of a special relation to this minigame because it was actually the only reason I wanted to play Mario Party 5 to begin with, so it has a very special place in my heart. I'd put it in probably very high A tier. I really like how you have to cooperate to try and prolong the inevitable explosion. And again, I think it has a pretty cool atmosphere, so A tier it is for me.
Cannot argue your description at all. I am going to put it slightly higher. I like it more than Hot Hot Hop, so I'll be putting it in the S tier. It's a classic. It's just good fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, what do you think of Dory Pedal Paddle?
Oh man, easy F tier. Worst minigame in the whole selection. Like, you have to do such a obnoxious move with your controller, and it just, and again, it's 2v2, so the second player's controller also has to work. It's just, I hate everything about it. It's actually my least favorite minigame of all time.
It's painfully hilarious, which is why I've got it above Treetop Treasure, just because it is funny.
Yeah,
so I'll put it in the F tier still. I can't talk myself out of that. But something I can talk myself out of putting it low is Jump the Gun. This minigame in particular has always been good, back when it first came out, but also here as well. And I think for me, it's probably an A tier minigame. I think just below, above Sunset Standoff. I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think I'll put it probably in the B tier because it does have one of the coolest concepts ever, but it does also feel a bit formulaic and repetitive every time you play it. Like, there's only so many patterns you can do.
Yeah, completely agree. Speaking of agreeing or trying to get things similar, how do you like matchmaking?
Yeah, this one is just kinda boring. Like, it's fairly inoffensive, but it's just trying to find the right cards to match with each other. So yeah, I think I'll put it at the bottom of D tier.
Can't argue with that. I'm also the exact same. I think it's better than the F tier ones, but yeah, just D tier personally. Next is picking produce, and I quite like this, but I don't think I like it that much. I think for me, this is also a D tier minigame. I think I like it more than Hammer at Home, so I'm gonna put it there.
Oh, that's pretty harsh. I think it's actually probably my favorite 2v2 minigame in this selection, and I'd comfortably put it at the top of the A tier, just because of the whole cooperative aspect and trying to get all the right fruits on the right conveyors.
Yeah.
It's really engaging.
Yeah, I think I've just seen it so many times in different Mario Party games in just different ways, and I think, yeah, it might have just been a bit too similar for me personally. But
Yeah, that's fair.
this next minigame not only is delicious to look at, but it's pretty fun to play. So I think this is probably, it's probably my favorite 2v2 minigame in this game. I have to put it in the S tier. I think it's just above Hop. I really like Prime Cut. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think this one is just fine. Like, the meat definitely looks delicious. It's just that it's a bit too simple. So, probably bottom of B tier.
Fair enough. What do you think of Robo Arm Wrestle?
Oh yeah, so this one completely threw me off guard when I first played it, because I thought it would just be a regular button masher, but then it turned out to be like actual arm wrestling with motion. So, but it does feel a bit more responsive than the other motion minigames, so I'd put it maybe, I mean, I still don't like it, but high D tier.
Yeah, I think I like it more than Hammer at Home, just because it is pretty hilarious to play. Probably not as much as Pick and Produce, but I think for me it's going to go in the D tier, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rocky Rope Race, this one is very hard to play if you don't have a good connection, but I think it's just a little too simple for me aside from the connection issues, so I'm going to put it in the D tier above Tiny Travel. I think it's still fun, but just a little too easy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's definitely too formulaic. You do the same thing every time, so I'd put it probably low C.
Shadow Play, this is another one I didn't think anything of before it came out, and then I got to play it, and this one was a lot of fun to play, so I quite enjoy this. I think it's around the Lost and Pound one for me personally. I probably like it more than that, so I'll put in the C tier.
Yeah, so this is probably gonna sound like a skill issue, but I think this one is a bit too stressful. Like, it's just, you have to look at so many different variables, see which shapes will make the right shape. It's just a bit too much, but I still admit that it's fairly good, so I'll put it maybe in the middle of B tier.
A good placement, I'd say. Tricky Turntable. How do you like this? Because I've got an opinion on this.
Yeah, so this one is, I don't really like this one at all, because it's like that Womp Stomp boss fight in Mario Party 9, but again without the tension, and it's just, if you're playing with real people, you'll all just try to do it at the last second, and then you don't know, it becomes effectively luck-based, and with computer players, you can just cheese it with that exact strategy, because computer players will not do it at the last second, so I think this one is a fairly comfortable F tier.
I agree completely. I don't like this at all. I think there's no stakes to it. I mean, you can lose 2 or 3 coins and you can gain a few, but it just sucks in my opinion. I'm gonna I actually like this. I actually prefer Gatekeepers over this. I'm putting it at bottom of F.
Yeah, I think actually I agree on second thought on that. And it goes on for way too many rounds.
Agreed, it's just too long.
Yeah.
And this takes us to the final minigame of the 2v2s, which is 2-Axis Taxi. And I'm going to start with this one because I think my opinion may potentially sway you if you don't like it. I think this is hilarious. I think it's a good balance of chaotic and also just fun. So I think it's a B-tier minigame, and I'm going to put it above Blame It on the Crane, which is a compliment.
Yeah, on one hand, I suppose it's kind of hilarious, but since I mostly play with CPUs, they just do not know what to do at all, and it gets a bit annoying for me, so I'll put it probably in the C tier because, again, it's kind of funny. And with real people, it's a fun cooperation challenge. It's just the CPUs are not responsive at all.
Agreed. I mostly play it with actual people, so that's how I got the really good experience from it. But if I was playing with computers, I'd probably be in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the Duel Minigames, and overall, I really like the Duel Minigames in this game, and the first one in particular, all the marbles, is hilarious. Being able to punch the person behind you, and also just be able to sort of try to get in front of them using the marbles too is really, really fun. So I'm going to put this at the bottom of the B tier, just above Stamp Out, because I really do like this minigame.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'd also put it at B tier, although at the top of it, because I also really like the sounds that the marbles make when they collide with each other.
Yeah, it's just nostalgic. It's right, throwback to the childhood right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood, I did a bit of fishing growing up. What do you think of fast fishing?
Yeah, fast fishing is a bit too quick, like it's over in 5 seconds and it's just too simple, but it's functioning, so bottom of the C tier.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you too much. I think I like it not as much as Treasure Divers, but I like it more than Lumber Tumble, so I'll put it in the C tier. Speaking of really, really liking though, Fuzzy Heights. This one I've had a really good time with. I think this is going in the B tier as well for me, just above 2-Axis Taxi. I think it's a good 1v1 minigame.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite duel minigame in this selection. It's easy to understand, but still fairly challenging, and I like how you have the time so you don't collide with the fuzzies, so I'm putting it in the A tier, yeah.
Yeah, if you just saw what I did on my screen then too, I also moved it to the A tier because I just had a throwback to winning a star in a dual minigame on it, and it just gave me a good feeling, so it's a good 1v1.
Yeah.
What do you think of Slappy Go Round?
Yeah, this one is full concept and fairly cool execution. You realize it's kind of a mind game, but it's not a luck-based mind game, so I did this a bit simple, so I'm putting it maybe low B tier. Yeah.
Very fair. I think for me, I like it more than Twist and Sort, but not enough more than Big Top Quiz, so it's going to go in the B tier for me.
It feels like a more underwhelming version of the Light Wave Battle for me.
Yeah, I completely agree there. And the last dual minigame is Stone Eye Bowling. I love bowling in real life. I'm not good at bowling in real life, but it's fun. I think I like it more than Fast Fishing. So I am going to put it in the C tier, just above Hot Cross Blocks.
Yeah, I think I'll also put it in the C tier. I love bowling, but as a dual minigame, it does feel a bit more on the luck-based side, because you only get one go, so you kind of have to hope for the best. So I'll put it, yeah, C tier is pretty fair.
Very respectable. So this takes us to the Item Minigames, and I probably won't spend too long on this one because they're just Item Minigames, but Flip and Land is the first one. It's just, again, a memorizing sort of minigame. I'm probably just going to put this in the D tier. I don't like it as much as Matchmaker.
So the Item Minigames are, yeah, they're fairly boring. Like, they're perfectly functioning, but yeah, I don't care about them all. I think I'm probably gonna put all of them in the D tier, actually, with this one being the weakest one.
Yeah, I'm not too far apart from you. I think Prize Drop for me is probably also on the D tier. Don't like it as much as Flip and Land, so that's gonna go there.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more interesting than Flip and Find, but still too basic.
Just super luck based, hey?
Yeah.
What do you think of Prize Line?
Yeah, Prize Line is also just, it's in the middle of those, really. Like, it's skill based, a bit more interesting than just cards, but yeah, it's pretty boring visually too.
Yeah, I'm the exact same, just smack bang in the middle. Roll that's not too bad. I think it's a little fun, so I'll probably put that one just above Prize Line. I still prefer Flip and Land personally.
Yeah, actually, Roll of It can get a low C tier just because it requires some actual skill.
And the last one being Stone Throw, how'd you rate it?
Okay, this one is probably the weakest one. It's just, this one is so basic, it hurts. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so, you just do one thing. Okay, you do one thing for the others too, but it's just, yeah, it's just boring.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think for me, this one's the only one in the F tier, and I feel kind of dirty because it is an item minigame, but I probably prefer up until platform peril. Actually, no, I prefer it more than platform peril because it's over faster, so we'll put it there.
Yeah, actually, I'm putting it in F tier too.
Next up, we've got the Jamboree Buddy minigames, and these, of course, are brand new. They are all pretty long, but they all are interesting and have sort of that 3-round concept for the most part. So the first one is Mario 3P. So I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, so personally, I don't really like the Jamboree Buddy minigames all that much since they do take up quite a lot of playtime, like 5 minigames just for getting a buddy that you can lose the next turn. But I do believe that Mario's 3P is one of the slightly more memorable ones, if only because I have a lot of nostalgia for these said 3 minigames. It's Leaf Leap, Bumper Balls, and Shy Guy Says, and all fine. Leaf Leap is too easy, but the other two are as they were in the past, so I'm putting it probably top of B tier.
Yeah, I'm under the same boat. Really like all 3 of these mini games individually and really good back in the day. And I think combining them all together and making them go a little bit faster, what it feels like, is a really good idea. So I think I'm going to put this in the B tier just because it is still a longer mini game. I'm going to put it ahead of Stamp Out. Cool. The next one is Luigi's Rescue Operation. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. This takes a long time to complete, and the person who gets to the Jamboree Buddy first gets a major advantage. So besides that, it's still really fun. I don't think I like it more than Mario 3P, but it is around the same category, so I'm going to put it just behind.
Yeah, so this is actually my least favorite Jamboree Buddy minigame, I think. Like, the first few rooms are just too easy, but then the last room becomes way too challenging when you have to memorize like 5 different things, and it's just... yeah, it completely ruins. It completely puts me at a halt, so I'm putting this one at a pretty low D tier.
And do you prefer Peach's Day Off to this by much?
A bit, but not by much. I'd probably put this one in the C tier. Like, the first phase is too easy. Like, I don't know how you can possibly... like, I don't think I've ever hit one of those biddy buggies ever. And then the second phase is that hot crossed blocks mind game, which I hate. But then the final phase is actually pretty fun when you have to find the right firework ingredients. So, plus it is pretty cinematic, so it's fairly average.
You summed it up very well. It's a good mini game. I just don't think it's anything too special. So I would be putting it in the C tier above Treasure Divers. One of the mini games I did enjoy is Daisy's Field Day for the Jamboree Buddies ones. I think it's just a nice little obstacle course kind of one. I actually think it may, or no, it's not my favorite one out of all of them, but I think it is second. So I am going to put this above Blame It on the Crane. So we got Daisy's Field Day in the B tier.
Yeah, I think this one is harmless fun. Like, it's nothing too crazy, but it's short enough and it's satisfying trying to get as many pellets as possible. So I'm putting it probably top of B tier.
Cool. What do you think of Wario's Buzzsaw?
Oh, I love this one.
Ooh.
Easily my favorite one. Like, I don't even like quiz minigames that much, but this one is... I really love how varied and challenging the questions are. And the whole presentation of it is just... I really like the vibes of it, so I'm top of A tier.
Very fair. I think this one for me, I don't like as much as Daisy's Field Day, but it's still very good. I can't put it below Blame the Crane, so I'm going to put it above it. So yeah, Daisy's Field Day, Wario's Buzzbeater, that to me looks very accurate to how I'm feeling. Speaking of feeling,
yeah,
Waluigi's Pinball is one that I really like, but it goes for too damn long. So in theory, really cool concept, just I think it goes for too long. So that for me, it does hinder it. I am going to put it in the D tier above Hammer at Home. Oh, no, above Thwomp the Difference. I think it's good, but yeah, too long.
Yeah, so Waluigi's Pinball, just like the Mario Kart track it's based off, is, in my opinion, painful average because I love the concept and all the colors, but it's just... there are two sides to it. If it was just a regular minigame like 60 seconds, it would be perfectly fine, maybe even great, but as a Jamboree Buddy game, it's too luck-based, goes on for too long, so it's, Yeah, I mean, I like it more than Luigi's Rescue Operation because the concept is fun, but I mean, I'll put it at the top of the B tier, I suppose.
Yeah, it pains me to do that. It pains me to do it. But moving on, what do you think of Yoshi's Mountain?
Oh, this one is so much fun. Like, again, platforming is my favorite genre of minigames. And I really like all the obstacles you have to avoid and all the fruits you need to become faster. Like, it's not quite as dynamic as Wario's Buzzer Beater because it's always the exact same layout every time, but still, I'd probably put it pretty high up in the A tier.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Platforming minigames are very fun. This one is long, but it feels good that it's long because it's a platform minigame, and you summed it up perfectly. And for me, I'm debating if I'd rather in the A tier or the S tier. I think top of A tier for me probably makes more sense. I'm going to put in the A tier. It's a good minigame.
Yeah.
Now, Rosalina's Radical Race. You'd expect we both like this coming from our Mario Kart YouTube background. I, however, find it average. I think it's a cool in concept, it's a motion one, but I think it goes on for a little bit too long, and I'm going to put this in the C tier, just below Peach's Day Off.
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. Like, I love the presentation of it, especially with the Rainbow Road at the end, but it's just not a lot happens in it, and again, it's motion controlled, so I'd probably put it pretty low. Yeah, pretty middle of the C tier somewhere. Yeah, middle of C tier.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. DK's Conga Line. How do you like that?
Yeah, this one, it also goes on for a bit too long, but it's not annoying in the slightest. It's pretty catchy. I like how it's a reference to the rhythm recital mode from Mario Party Star Rush. So I'll put it maybe somewhere in the B tier. Yeah, I think lower end of B is good.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think this one I prefer more than Mario 3P. Probably not as much as Wario's Buzzer Beater. I think I prefer again more than Blame It on the Crane. So these three here I basically got in front up there because I like it more than Blame It on the Crane, which I like more than Granite Getaway. So I think it's good. It's hilarious to play in lag as well with my US friends. So it goes in the B tier. It's a lot of fun. And the last Jamboree Buddy minigame is Junior's Jauntlet. So this is one that's actually really good. Again, I actually think this one in particular might be, I reckon, my second favorite out of all of them, to be honest, now that I think about it. I'm going to put this just above 2 Axis Taxi, only because I've had some hilarious moments in the minigame, so I'll be putting it in the B tier.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Junior's Jauntlet. Like, it's a pretty cool, like, obstacle course, kind of. And I like having to dodge all of the random enemies. And I like how it's also randomized every time you play it. You never know what to get. So, like, I'd say it's a pretty good B tier game. Very close to the top, yeah. Maybe better than, probably, yeah, at the very top of B tier, actually.
Yeah, it's a good minigame. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, and this is something I know that you really love because you love Mario Party 9, the boss minigames. The first one we've got is Dragon Eel Slayers. How do you like this one?
Yeah, so Dragon Eel Slayers is one of the best first bosses I have ever played in a Mario Party game. Like, it's fairly simple in concept, but it's basically cheap shot from Mario Party 9, but more dynamic in every way. I like how you have to kind of fight over the shells in the first phase, and then just blast them all the way when he launches up. So, yeah, this is an easy S tier.
Ooh.
Actually one of my favorite minigames of all time.
Wow. I don't think I'm going to put it that high up for myself personally, but I really do like Dragon Eel Slayers of the minigame. I think it probably is one of the stronger boss ones, and I like how you have to spam and also dodge everything that's coming in your way. So I think I'm going to put this in the A tier, just behind Yoshi's Mountain Race. It's a very good boss minigame.
Yeah, it definitely slays.
It does. And next we've got Mega Stingby Stompers. Unfortunately, this one doesn't hit as hard for me, but in saying that, I still think it's a good boss fight. I don't think it deserves to be in the F tier, like I've seen other people put it there before, but I think it's probably just average. So I am going to put it in the C tier, just above Rosalina's Radical Race and Peach's Day Off. I think I like the concept of the boss fight, and it can be fun.
Yeah, I think it's fairly mediocre. I do like platforming again, and it is pretty engaging, but it's also just kind of easily cheesable because you can just ground pound him if you're just on a middle platform, and he just looks a bit too goofy, so top of the D tier is respectable, barely.
Speaking of respectable, do you find Mega Rocky Wrench Wreckers respectable?
Yeah, so this one is probably in the middle of the road. Like, the concept is simple but fun. Shoot the Mega Rocket Wrench when he pops out from the hatches. It's basically Blooper Barrage from Mario Party 9, but without the motion controls. But in that case, the motion controls helped your aiming become more intuitive, but now you're limited by the joystick, so I think it's probably C tier. My favorite part of it is the music, even if halfway through you suddenly hear the circus anthem for some reason. So yeah.
Yep. I think for me it's a B tier minigame. Again, it's just a fun boss battle. I'm gonna put it above Mario 3P just because it is quite fun to fight a big giant rocky wrench, so I'll put it there.
Yeah.
This next one really took me by surprise. I thought this one probably would be my least favorite in theory, but I think it is my favorite out of all of them. So I'm gonna put this in the A tier above Dragon Eel Slayers. I really like the puzzle concept, it's good fun.
Yeah, this is easily my favorite one as well, and maybe I might even prefer it to Sandwiched overall. Like, it's got everything, like the whole puzzle concept and the fact that you have to be faster than your opponents, and the presentation is just so stellar. I love the stormy clouds, and now you can see a bit of sunlight behind the boss as if he's what stands between you and brighter days. It's just, I love everything about it. It's so good.
Awesome. And what do you think of Bowser's Crash's final boss battle in the game?
Oh man, yeah, this has got to be one of the most underwhelming final bosses of all time. Like, all you do is just hold in A, wait until you're all loaded up, and then just let go to launch yourself to him, and he barely even attacks you. And then halfway through he just falls apart and Kamek has to resurrect him. It's just F tier. It's so underwhelming.
Yeah, this is definitely my least favorite as well. I think I prefer it more than Waluigi's Pinball Arcade, so I'll be putting it in the D tier. When I think of boss battles, this one does not spring to my mind first.
Yeah, the only one I think is, it's only better than Mario Party 7's Lovely Lift, but that's because that was just too much on the challenging side.
So, this means we're down to our final 3 categories now, Albert, and these of course are Koopathalon, we've also got the 8-player minigames, and of course we have the rhythm ones as well. So, we'll start with the Koopathalon, and I'll let you take this away to start. Brick Break, how do you find it?
Yeah, first we have Brick Breaker, which at first it's really intriguing me because it's basically Windows' screensaver as a Mario Party minigame. But because Koopathalon is all about collecting as many coins as possible, it's probably one of my lesser favorite ones, just because you don't really have too much control over where the Koopa shell is gonna go. So I'll put it probably in the C tier, just because I still really like Koopathalon and it's satisfying to get coins, and I like the concept, but it's not one of the better ones.
Yeah, I'm also a C tier guy for this minigame, so I'll be putting it just above Treasure Divers because it feels pretty action-packed when you're actually playing it. Speaking of action-packed when you're playing it, Coin Conveyor. This basically just feels like Tetris, and I love Tetris. So I am going to be putting Coin Conveyor, I think just above Lost and Pound. Only because I really like this one, and it gets harder as you go.
Yeah, personally, I'm not really too much into tennis because it's kind of tennis. I'm not too much into Tetris as it's kind of been overdone at this point in Mario Party. So, but it is pretty exciting trying to fill in as many rows as possible. So I'll put it probably in the lower B tier.
And how do you feel about Down the Hat?
Well, yeah, so this one, like, it's both unsatisfying, but also satisfying at the same time. Like, I really like trying to get as many blocks in the hatch as possible. Like, yeah, I have conflicting feelings about it, but at the same time, when it is fun, it's so much fun. So I'll put it, actually, you know what? I'm putting it in the S tier.
Wow. Yeah, I've got a completely different opinion on Down the Hatch. I think it's a good mini game. I think for me it's just another C tier one. I actually prefer Brick Breaker to it. So I'll be putting it in the C tier. But again, again though, it's still fun. There's just so many mini games in this game are actually really good. So it's just a great game. Golden Brown is another one. It feels like more of just a timing mini game, just to make sure you actually cook the cookies on time. So I don't think it's as good as Brick Breaker or Down the Hatch, but it can get pretty hectic. I don't think it's a D tier mini game, but I do think it's again better than Treasure Divers and Fast Fishing. So I am gonna put it. Do I like it more than? No, I do like it slightly more than Down the Hatch. Now I think about it a little bit more. So I am also gonna put that in the C tier.
Yeah. So for one, I really love the look of the bread. Like it's so delicious. But on the other hand, the joystick is a bit too sensitive. But again, you can't go wrong with bread. I like bread more than meat, which is why I'm gonna put it much higher than Prime Cut. So A tier.
Yeah, I mean, these mini games are all good. It's hard to really rank them like too high, dude, because they're just really good fun. Speaking of fun, Lane Change is a lot of fun. And I think this for me is going in the S tier. No, I know it's going in the S tier. I just really like this one. And it gets harder as the game goes. And yeah, it gets intense. And it feels like Subway Surfer from what I played as a kid. So it's good fun.
Yeah, I agree. This is also S tier. Probably my favorite Koopathalon minigame. I love the whole aesthetic and how it gets harder, even if it's still one of the easier ones. But again, it's just satisfying, and that's what's most important for a Koopathalon minigame.
Agree. What do you think of Nog and Knock?
Oh yeah, this is another one that I really love, trying to get as many Monty Mole wax as possible. So actually, this is another S tier. Yeah, second place for Koopathalon.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think this personally for me is going to go into the A tier, just behind Fuzzy Heights. It's really good fun, and it get pretty intense as well.
Yeah.
Sky High Cannons. This is one that I just didn't have that much fun with. I think it's not because it's difficult. I just think the concept isn't that great in theory. That could just be me though. But in saying that, I still think it's okay. I am going to be putting it in the D tier, just above Pick and Produce.
Yeah, actually, I think I might agree with you. Unlike the other Koopathalon minigames, this one feels a bit too slow-paced. And if you screw up at any point, it becomes basically impossible to catch up. So
yeah,
probably high D tier.
Yeah. Next is Spike's Gambit, and this is one that I actually like a fair bit. I think this one for me is going to go into the B tier, just because it just offers a lot of fun. I don't think I like it as much as Cage Catch, but I do prefer it to Tilt-A-Golf.
Yeah, I think this one it's fine. Like, getting hit by one of those pillars is just the worst thing ever. But I like the aesthetic and it's one of the coin minigames of all time. So I'm putting it probably pretty average. Actually, pretty good. I like it enough, so I'm putting it somewhere in the B tier. Yeah. Actually, I'm putting it in the high B tier. I just realized, yeah.
Next is the last one that's not a Bowser minigame from the Koopathalon, which is Which Door Has More. And how would you personally rank?
This one is just kind of boring in concept. Like, I guess it's a bit exhilarating when you have to be quick and fast, but it doesn't really feel like I'm earning anything. I'll put it in the middle of C tier. Yeah, actually high C tier.
Yeah, this was one that I kind of thought that I was going to like a lot more with all the game previews and whatnot, but I think personally it's just better than Treasure Divers, just barely for me, so I'll be putting it in the C tier.
Yeah.
This, of course, takes us to the Bowser Koopathalon ones, which are actually quite fun. And the first one being Burning Bridges, I really, really enjoy. This may potentially be my favorite of the lot, and I'll be putting this, this one's tough to place. I think I'll be putting this just below Lane Change. I think it's that good. I think it's just a much harder hot roach.
Yeah, so these Bowser minigames are actually shockingly hard. Like, I've lost way more times than I can remember and only won like 2 to 3 times in total. So, and this one is definitely one of the most iconic ones, especially when the fire when the fire gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And what about Castle Hassle?
Yeah, this is the only one we basically saw from all the trailers at first, and it's I mean, it's fine. It's a bit easier, but it's also more platforming based, so I'll put it once above.
Yeah, I also really like this. I think for me it's going to go on the B tier, just above Spike's Gambit. It's nice and cool to sort of be punished if you do lose. It's quite fun to see yourself get shot back a lot, which I've seen a lot of. Fire Away, this one is also a lot of fun. It's again pretty tough. It's not a walk in the park. So again, I think this is another B tier one. I like it more than Mario 3P, but not enough more than Mega Rocky Wrenches Wreckers. So I'll be putting it in the B tier.
Yeah, this one reminds me a lot of that abandoned ship game from Mario Party 2, and it's really exciting trying to outrun the lava, but still not be too fast in case there's something above you. So it also reminds me of that mountain level from Donkey Kong Country 3, so I think this one is actually A tier. Maybe, yeah, I'm putting it above Trampoline.
Very cool. Floor is Falling is another one. Again, all these Bowser mini games are both tough and also a lot of fun. I think I prefer this more than Castle Hassle. But in terms of Fire Away, I prefer Fire Away more, but I like it more than Mario 3P. So it's going to go just below Fire Away.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm putting it right below Fire Away. It's so exhilarating when the floor starts to not exactly fall, but disappear, and now you really have to be quick.
And the last one of the Koopathalon is, of course, Slider Shell. How do you like this?
Oh, yeah. It's not a good final impression for these minigames. Like, the first 2 rounds are too easy, and then the last one just becomes way too much at once. So, like, I'm probably putting it actually at the bottom of D tier. And this is also the Koopathalon minigame I get the most, so I have even more of a grudge.
It's ironic, isn't it? It's very ironic. I think I prefer it more than the Item Minigames, and probably not as much as Matchmakers, so I'll be putting it in the D tier just because of the reasons you suggested. It's still fun, but nowhere near as good as the other ones.
Yeah, maybe it's better than Matchmakers and Luigi's Stress Corporation.
And this, of course, takes us to the 8-player minigames, which are kind of similar to Mario Party 8's, but these are just all cooperative. For the most part, they're quite fun. They don't really leave as much an impression to me personally compared to the other minigames in the game, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement on that.
What do you think of Ball Volley?
Yeah, Ball Volley, it could have been good. I love the presentation of it, but if just one player screws up, then you don't get a point at all, even if everyone else did a good job. So I'm probably putting it at the very bottom of C tier.
Yeah, it's painfully average. I think I prefer the Bowser minigame to it of Slide and Shell, but not more than I prefer it to the Item minigame. So I'll be putting it in the D tier there. Ballistic Bingo is also one that I thought I'd probably like a lot, but again, just fell for me personally. So I'm going to put that in the D tier very comfortably, but just above Matchmakers.
Yeah, you summed up my thoughts pretty well. I'm putting it slightly above Ball Volley just because it's it's more interesting.
Oh yeah. Speaking of interesting, what do you think of Bath Bob-ombs?
Oh yeah, so this one is actually fairly decent. It's got an somewhat exciting premise. I think I'll put it somewhere in the B tier.
Yeah,
no,
B tier is definitely, that's exactly where I was thinking. I think for me personally, I prefer it more than Twist and Short, and also not as much as the Slappy Go Round. So just in the middle of the B tier almost. I think it's really good for an 8-player one. It's one of the ones that stand out the most, I think.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of standing out, Chomp Wash, I actually quite like. I've seen controversial opinions on this. I don't think it's as good as Bath Bombs, but I do prefer it to the Castle Hassle. So for me, it's going in the B tier. It's a solid minigame.
Yeah, this one is fairly dynamic. I like how each player gets their own role in it. And it is a pretty cool callback to that Mario Party 8 minigame, so I'll put it probably in the B tier, just below Bath Bombs.
What about Juice Works?
Oh yeah, this one is excellent. Probably an S tier actually when I think about it. Like, it's like that Chomp Wash game where everyone gets their own role, but there are more roles this time. You got the ones picking the fruits, the pressers, and finally the delivery boy. So yeah, I think it's S tier.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that too much. I think I think for me, it's going in the B tier as well, just because, as I mentioned before, the other one where you kind of just sorting between fruits and whatnot, this one feels a lot more dynamic and a lot different. I don't prefer it more than Bath Bob-ombs though, so I will be putting this one in the B tier as well.
Yeah, fair. Next up, we have Look This Way, which is based off both Don't Look for Mario Party 9, as well as Looking for Love from Mario Party Super Mario Party. And I mean, it's fairly basic. I think it's way too easy, like there's always more than enough time to check which it will stop on. So I'm putting it probably, I mean, it's harmless, so probably bottom of C tier. I like volleyball a little more since it's more interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't find this one too much fun. I'm gonna put it just below in the D tier there. Yeah, it's a minigame. It's fun. It just doesn't stand out too much to me.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Match That Item, and I find this one kind of average, but I do like it. I think for me personally, it's going to go on the D tier, just above Sky High Cannons. It's a fun minigame, but I feel like it drags on a little bit too much.
Yeah, so this is an easy F tier for me. It's just way too simple in concept, and you get way too much time that you always win this game. So even if you fail like 10 times, you can still get an S rank. So yeah, it's just, I don't like it at all.
What do you think of Puzzle Pandemonium?
Yeah, I mean, this one it's alright. Like, it reminds me of that half the battle game from Super Mario Party with the allies. I mean, but it's also pretty easy. There's only so many puzzle pieces you can find after all. I'm putting it in probably somewhere in the C tier again.
Yeah. I found this one also pretty average. I do prefer it slightly to Match That Item, so I'm going to put it just ahead of that. Skedaddle is one that is quite fun, I actually think. I think it is a little bit too easy, but that's not a bad thing. I think for me it's just smack bang average. So I will be putting this one in the C tier, just above Fast Fishing.
Yeah, I mean, it is iconic, but at the same time, it's too easy. And also, again, just too formulaic. You do the exact same thing for the whole duration. So actually, I'm putting it in the D tier, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough. And the last one is Trading Cards. How do you find it?
Yeah, this one is, I mean, again, it's just fine. It does require a bit more cooperation than the rest, which I enjoy, especially in the last few rounds. But again, the first few rounds are pretty easy, and they always are, so on repeat playthroughs too. So, I mean, it's a bit higher than the other team minigames, but not by much. I'll put it, yeah, this is fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. I think it's a C tier minigame. I do prefer it slightly to Skedaddle, and again, it's iconic. It's one of the first ones we saw, and it's pretty cool for the most part.
Yeah.
And that takes us to the rhythm minigames, and these ones I've only played a couple times, but I've played enough of them to sort of know which ones I like the most. So starting off, we have Burger Builders. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, so for me, all of the rhythm minigames are pretty comfortable A-tier minigames. I like music that goes along with them, and the fact that they're all food-based makes me super hungry. And Burger Builders is, it's one of my more preferred ones, just because it feels a bit more dynamic than the rest. So I'd probably put it, let's see, where should the rhythm minigames go? Maybe, yeah, this is right here below Fuzzy Heights.
Yeah, I do like the rhythm minigames. I don't think I like them as much as a lot of the other normal minigames, but in saying that, I still think this one in particular is very, very solid. Obviously making the burger and trying to keep in sync with the music, like all these ones kind of are essentially, just stay in time with the beat. I think I'm going to put this in the B tier, which is, treat this as a compliment because these minigames are all very, very good.
Yeah.
Speaking of good, I actually think Copycat Curry is actually really, really good. I think this is probably one of my favorite of the rhythm minigames. I think the difficulty gets pretty challenging as you go too. Obviously trying to remember the beats as you see them. And I think I prefer this more than Bath Bob-ombs, but not as much as Slappy Go Round. So I'll be putting this in the B tier as well.
Yeah, I really like Copycat Curry as well. The fact that Waluigi is the dancer is pretty funny. And it's been a while while since I heard the music, but it had a very kind of mysterious ancient feel to it, from what I remember, so I'll put it a slot above Burger Builders because they're all basically the same minigame in concept still.
Yeah. Next is, of course, it's on barb, and this is basically just getting your skewers and just getting it into the meat slash all the other vegetables, etc. that were in it. I can't quite remember what they all were, but this one I preferred slightly more than Burger Builders. It's just a fun mini game. You can't really go wrong with these, and the motion of kind of like almost thrusting it into your screen was pretty funny to see out loud. So
yeah, it's respectable. It's basically that take a stab game from Super Mario Party, the pirate one, except not as good because that one had my favorite song in the whole game and felt real adventurous. So this one feels kinda a bit, yeah, it's a bit more boring in comparison, but it's fine. So I'll put it, this one is actually gonna be quite a bit lower, so maybe, yeah, low B tier.
What do you think of Footlong Frenzy?
Oh yeah, so this one, I don't quite remember this one that much, but yeah, it was the sandwich building one. I mean, yeah, I thought this was pretty fun as well. Like, it wasn't as iconic musically or as dynamic as Burger Builders, but it was a rhythm minigame, alright.
Yeah, I think this one for me is going to also go onto the B tier. I'm going to put it here, and I'm just going to move on Barb and Burger Builders around. I'm going to go like this: Burger Builders, Footlong Frenzy, and then on Barb. I think that probably go with my gut feeling there. Just slightly changing it makes me feel a lot better about those three. And
yeah,
I have done that as well because I actually quite like On the Beat. I think this one's quite cool as you're going, you're sort of digging up the vegetables, and maybe because my father's big into the garden stuff and all that, I think this one here for me goes just below Copycat Curry, and I think I like it more than Bath Bombs, so I'm gonna put it there.
Yeah, I think this one is probably the one I liked the least, just because the music accompaniment was a bit boring, and yeah, the foods that you pick up aren't as delicious as the ones in the other ones. I mean, I think vegetables are fine, but they're not as flavorful as, say, hamburgers or curry or sandwiches.
Yeah, look, if we're ranking them on what they taste like, it'd definitely be probably not higher than the burgers and the steaks, but it's I still like the minigame.
Yeah, I'll put it probably somewhere in the B tier at least. Probably, yeah, below on Barb.
And what do you think of this one here? I forgot the name of this. It's one where you swing and you're trying to basically get the food into the gelato bowl.
Oh yeah, Parfait the course.
I would never have got.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest of the rhythm minigames. So I'd probably put it, but at the same time, I love the music accompaniment and the whole breezy vibe. So I'll put it, actually, this is my favorite rhythm minigame when I think about it.
Yeah, I also think this might be my favorite of the rhythm ones as well. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. There might be one that might just pip it, but I just prefer this to Copycat Curry, and I also prefer it over Slappy Go Round. So I'm going to be putting it in the B tier, and also with the whole entire holiday theming at the moment, it's one that I like to play on because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of I also do like this one here, Short Stack Chef. I probably don't prefer it to On Barb, but I can't see myself putting it into the C tier because it's still a cool rhythm game.
Yeah, this is the pancake one if I recall correctly, so it's mostly memorable for that perfect Bowser render where he looks like he's about to flip out on the cover art.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably put it in the A tier above a Footlong Frenzy, just because I really kind of like the rings that shrink when you have to flip them over.
Yeah. The Soup Troops one, I found this one a little bit too easy, but again, it's still fun, but I probably because I saw a fair bit of it in the lead up and overanalyzed the trailer, probably made myself sick of this one, but yeah, I'm going to put this one in the B tier. Again, very, very fun rhythm minigame. It's, just a little bit too easy for me.
It's definitely the easiest one, although also one of the most iconic ones. I 100% first try on it. But at the same time, I think this one has slightly more delicious looking vegetables than On the Beat. So
yeah, very nice.
you know what, I'll put it in A tier as well, just because I love eggplants.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And spread and butter, sorry. How do you find this?
Oh yeah, this is... Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say. All of these riff minigames are kind of similar, but this is another one of the more challenging ones, from what I recall, since you have to not only get the butter, but then also spread it, from what I remember. So I'll put it second best.
Okay. Yeah, this one I enjoyed. Again, like all these I enjoyed. I probably enjoyed it slightly more than on Barb, so it'll go on the B tier. And this, of course, takes us to the final minigame of the lot, being Whisk Cream. This one I actually found really fun because you're actually obviously doing the different motion of whisking. So it felt a little bit different to the rest. So for that alone, I think that's got to go just above Burgers Builders, only because I really like it and it's delicious by the end of making this cake. So it's a good minigame.
Yeah, I really liked how cheerful the vibes were for this one. Like, you were really preparing a cake for some chill party. So I'd put it probably... Yeah, it's in the middle of the road for the rhythm games. Another E tier.
Yeah, and I guess that rounds off our tier list together, Albert, which has been... It's been amazing to sit down and actually chat through all these minigames with you. This has not been scripted at all, by the way. So it's been a hell of a lot of fun just to say what we think about the minigames and then place in a tier list. Obviously, we've probably thought about this a fair bit in advance, but it's been really good to sort of just bounce ideas off each other and just have a chat, really.
Yeah.
And if people want to find you, Albert, where can they find you?
You can all find me on my YouTube channel, Albert Boris, where I do rankings, predictions, reviews, as well as other videos on Mario content.
Yeah, if you like my content at all, you're certainly going to like Albert's content. Honestly, he was one of the first people I started watching just before I started making any of my content as well, which ironically was the Mario Party Superstars we both kind of began. So we've had a very, very similar journey, and it's been awesome to sort of always work alongside you and chat with you as we do things. So make sure to show Albert some love and go over there, subscribe and watch Albert's content. And with that, this has been our tier list of every single minigame in Super Mario Party Jamboree. Be sure to let us know down in the comment section what your favorite minigames are from this game. And if you are game enough, be sure to rank them all down below as well. I read every single comment, so I will definitely acknowledge your ranking. If you did enjoy this video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could leave a like and of course subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, be sure to check out Albert Boris, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya!
See ya!